Hello and welcome, I'm Saffron from saffrondominises.com, and in today's video we're going to be looking at EFT for visibility. So this might apply more if you're self-employed, but it can also apply to employed people or people in any kind of a situation that's not necessarily work related. What we're going to look at are two different things. So the idea of making videos to put online and the idea of public speaking. So you can use this video for either of those things, and I know that some people have difficulty with one and not the other, and there's no real rule to which way around that is. There's no kind of recognised videos are scarier than being on a stage, or being on a stage is scarier than videos. It's different for each of us. So if you want to think about which of those feels scariest for you, and for me fairly obviously it's being on a stage, because the being on videos doesn't really trouble me much anymore, as you can hopefully tell. So bring to mind whichever one of those feels most challenging for you, and we're going to use the 1 to 10 scale in this one. So what is the emotion connected with that to begin with? So is it anxiety? Do you feel terrified? Is it fear when you think about being in front of a camera or being on a stage? And how intense is that on a 0 to 10 scale or a 1 to 10 scale, whichever. It doesn't really matter, the number doesn't have to be precise, it's just a measure of how far we've come with the EFT, so that we can tell whether it's made a difference or not. And you can, if you've got the workbook, if you're working with the mini course and the extended version of this video, you can make a note of this in your workbook, and if not, just make a note of it on a piece of paper. And then we'll begin. So if you haven't done one of these videos before, you just need to tap where I'm tapping and repeat what I'm saying. So even though the thought of being so visible in this way is really terrifying to me, I could be seen by so many people, and they're not all going to like me. And that's okay. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. Even though I'd really rather do anything than be so visible as this. It's a really terrifying thought. And I just don't want to do it. That's okay. I don't have to do it. And I love and accept myself exactly as I am. Even though the thought of being this visible really, really terrifies me. If you want to change the wording to make it more emphatic, then do. I love and accept myself in spite of this fear. I'm really terrified by the thought of being so visible. I just can't do it. I can't even think about it. The idea of being in front of a camera, of having to talk into that lens, is absolutely terrifying. It just makes me freeze up. And I don't even know why. The thought of being on a stage is really frightening too. I feel so anxious when I think about a sea of faces looking up at me. I feel like I'm no good at this. I'm no good at talking to this many people, whether it's through a camera or on a stage. They don't want to know what I've got to tell them. And even if they do, they're not going to like the way that I deliver it. People don't like my speaking style. And I never get the message across clearly. I can't speak clearly when I'm so afraid. Nobody can. Nobody can speak clearly when they're frightened. All the thoughts that I wanted to express just vanish from my mind. When I think of being watched by so many people, I feel so exposed. I feel so visible. I feel so judged. It just doesn't feel safe. It's not safe to be this exposed. It's safe to be part of a crowd. Not the one individual that everyone's looking at. It really doesn't feel safe to be visible. That's coming from a really deep part of my brain. It's not safe to be seen. It's not safe to be singled out. I'm being watched on a video or speaking on stage. That's all about being singled out. I just can't do it. I don't want to do it. And I don't have to do it. It's okay not to do it. I don't ever have to do it if I don't want to. But it's also okay to unpick it. To understand what that fear is about. Why is it so scary? Why don't I want to be seen? What is it that frightens me so much? Being seen terrifies me. Being watched by all those people. Being judged by all those people. That's what it is. It's the fear of being judged. Being singled out and scrutinised. So that other people can decide whether or not I'm good enough. Why would anyone single themselves out in that way? I have a message that I would like to convey. I'd like to be able to speak to people and to reach bigger audiences. But I can't cope with this. With being singled out and scrutinised. I can't cope with other people deciding whether or not I'm good enough. So maybe that doesn't have to be the way it is. Maybe making myself visible doesn't have to be the same as offering myself up for judgment or allowing other people to decide whether I'm good enough. People will judge me, and part of me is terrified. But does it have to matter? Do their opinions have to matter? Do I need to base my self-worth on the judgments of other people? Because even though it feels that way, this isn't about safety. It's really unlikely that anybody's going to hurt me for speaking on stage. They might disagree with me, but that doesn't have to feel threatening. It feels threatening to me right now. But what if I could let it happen? What if I could allow other people to disagree with what I'm saying without that being about me, without that being about my self-worth? Maybe I could let them have their opinions and not take them on board myself. Not everyone's going to like me or what I have to say. Maybe one day that could be okay. It might not feel okay yet, but maybe one day it will. Maybe I could pass on my message without all of this fear. I'm opening up to the possibility that one day that could happen for me. That I could be visible and safe. Take a deep breath. Make a note of anything that came up for you during that round. Thoughts, emotions, memories. Often scripts like this can bring up memories of times when we've done public speaking, or memories of times when we've been judged harshly and it has felt like it's affected our safety, or it has felt like it could affect our safety. And those are the things to go to next with your tapping. Often when we have a fear, like the fear of visibility, the fear of being on camera, the fear of public speaking, it can come back to an incident that's happened, and it might not be an incident where you've done public speaking as you would recognise it, or where you've been on camera, but it might be an incident that has some stuff in common with that. So any memories that come up, don't dismiss them, they could well be relevant. So we're now going to go into the second half of the video. If you would like to purchase the extended video, then please get in touch with me. There'll be details at the end about where you can get hold of the second half of the video and the workbook that goes with it. And if not, then thank you for taking part in this part, and I hope it's been helpful to you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye.